Welcome, dear viewers, to a gripping tale of love betrayal and the unexpected twists of fate that can lead us to our true destiny. Enjoy the story.
Once Father John was just a man named John, a police investigator committed to justice. Unlike many in his department, John was honest, a quality that didn't win him friends among his peers. Each time he dug deeper into a case, he faced threats, yet he held firm, believing money would never lead to bloodshed. But he was wrong. The day he uncovered the truth behind a corrupt scheme, he received a chilling call. Every person has something important in life. For us, it's money. For you, it's your family. If we lose the money, you'll lose them. He dismissed their threats with pride, believing he stood on the moral high ground. That evening, however, he received the worst news of his life. His wife and son had been murdered in cold blood. In a haze of grief, John lost control of his car, crashing and landing in the hospital for 3 months. When he returned home, his mother-in-law spat at his feet, asking who needed his honesty now. Crushed and drowning in despair, he turned to alcohol, hoping to escape his pain. It was in this state that Father Thomas found him, offering shelter behind the church. John stayed with Father Thomas for a month, gradually helping out with small tasks around the church. He decided to leave the outside world behind, seeking solace in faith. 7 years later, John had become Father John, a priest dedicated to serving others. He provided comfort to those in need, taking in drifters, feeding the hungry, and offering a warm space for those who had nowhere else to go. Each small act felt like a victory, a step toward healing his own broken heart. One day during a burial service, John noticed a young woman in distress. She was the stepmother of the deceased, a wealthy family that seemed too concerned with appearances. Her hurried demeanor struck John as odd, as did the absence of the young man's father. As John prepared to conduct the burial rites, whispers among the attendees caught his attention. They spoke of the deceased, Toby, and the unsettling circumstances surrounding his death. It was hinted that he had been investigating something dangerous before his demise. Feeling a sense of duty, John hesitated. As he began the service, the atmosphere grew tense. Suddenly, the young woman, Kathy, fainted, prompting chaos among the mourners. Just then, John spotted something unsettling about the body in the casket. The face mask that covered the deceased's features was poorly affixed. Taking a deep breath, he gently pulled at the mask, revealing not Toby, but a different man altogether, a victim of deceit. The gathered crowd gasped as realization dawned. Just then, the church doors burst open, and in walked Toby himself, alive and bandaged, accompanied by police officers. "Hello, Mommy dearest, where's the fire?" he called out, revealing the truth of an assassination attempt and a scheme that had gone awry. The atmosphere shifted from mourning to shock and disbelief. As Kathy rushed to Toby, John felt a mix of emotions, relief, anger, and a desire for justice. He learned that Toby had faked his own death to escape the threats against him, a decision prompted by his father's final words urging him to marry Kathy for safety. In that moment, John knew he had to act. He proposed to hold a proper funeral for the man whose body had been misused. The community rallied, and the next day, they buried the homeless man with dignity. After the funeral, John walked away, feeling that he had fulfilled his role, yet knowing he couldn't return to the church. He found himself at a crossroads, wondering about his next step, when a familiar face approached him. Matthew, an old mentor from the police force. Matthew offered John a chance to return to law enforcement, emphasizing the need for integrity within the system. John, surprised but intrigued, accepted the invitation, knowing his past experiences could make a difference. A month later, a knock at his door revealed Toby and Kathy, inviting him to their wedding. Overwhelmed with emotion, John smiled, realizing he had become part of a community once more. "Please don't say you won't come," Kathy insisted. John reassured her, "I'll be there. Someone has to bless you both." With the bonds of love and friendship guiding him, John stepped into a new chapter of his life, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.